Hey everybody, it's John McCabe again. I want to thank you for joining me in video 2 of this 4-part video series to accompany the book How to Buy a Home for Only $100 Down, Even When the Banks Say No. In the first video, we talked about financing. We talked about how you're going to finance these houses, what strategy we're going to use. In this video, I want to talk specifically about how we're going to attract those homeowners. Do we determine who's willing to do this and who isn't willing to do this? And the way that we're going to do this is through marketing, through attracting these individuals specifically to stand up and put their hand up and say, I'm interested in doing this. Okay, so just a little bit of more background on me, in case you don't know. I'm a very proud introvert, which means that, and I'm kind of shy to begin with, which really means that there's no way. I've tried this. I had panic attack and I sweated profusely. There is no way I am going to pick up that phone. I'm going to cold call anybody out of the blue to ask them to do this or see if they would be willing to do this. There's just no way that that's ever going to happen. So if you thought that, you might have to do that, rest assured you do not have to do that. I am not going to teach you how to do that. That is not something that I do. I will not go knock on somebody's door without an appointment just to find out if they're willing to do this strategy to finance their home this method. That is not how I operate. How I attracted thousands and thousands of people since 2009 is through marketing, is by placing ads in places like Kijiji, Craigslist, by flyering neighborhoods or having door knockers and getting those door knockers put on people's doors in specific neighborhoods where I was targeting houses. And then having those individuals go through that information and contact me back. So the people that contact me are the ones that I know they've stepped up, they've stood up and raised their hand and said, I am interested in what you're doing. I think this will work for my home. And typically they know, when they contact me, they know exactly what I want. So there's no bait and switch. I'm not, going out there say, we buy houses. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I don't want to buy it today. I want to do this. There's none of that. Very straightforward up front. All of the marketing material lays it out exactly what they're going to receive, what we're going to do for them, and how we want it to structure it. So in order to do this, what I had to do is I had to really know my audience. I had to know the homeowners. I had to understand their pains, fears, frustrations, ambitions. So during the book, I go into this a little bit more detail, to understand why a homeowner would want to do this strategy. Why would they want to rent me their home and then sell it afterwards instead of just selling it today, or instead of renting it out to just a typical renter and then do that for 3 or 4 years, be a landlord, and then selling it, putting it on the open market at that point in time. I needed to understand, what they were going through, what pains were they suffering right now, what fears did they have in doing the traditional landlording, or what fears in putting it up, that strategy. What was their frustration with selling their home today or being a landlord? What were those frustrations, and what did they want to achieve? What was their ambition? What did they want out of this? So it took some time to really understand what their pains, fears, frustrations, ambitions are. And like I said, in this chapter in the book, we get into that in a little bit more detail. And then in the marketing, I needed to show them how we're going to deliver benefits to the homeowner, like what benefits they're going to receive by working with me. So when you start your marketing, what benefits are the homeowners going to get by working with you and renting their house to you for 3 to 5 years, and then giving you, letting you buy it at the end of the term. So what benefits are you going to provide them? So that's important. And it's really, all of this is really about transforming the homeowner's life. Because if you think about it, the homeowner is like where they are today. That's like their before state. Like where they're at right now. If you think of a river, on one side of the river is where they're at today. On the other side of the river is where they want to be in the future. And the only way to get from where they are today to where they want to be is that bridge that crosses the river. And that bridge is called the transformation bridge. So the homeowner transforms themselves from where they are today to where they want to be. So we need to understand what that transformation looks like for the homeowner. If they're here today and they want to be there tomorrow, what does their tomorrow look like for them? How am I going to transform their life so that they want to work with me, so they're willing to allow you to take over their home for $100 down and then have 3 to 5 years to be able to qualify for the mortgage. So we get into what that transformation looks like with respect to the marketing. Because remember, this is all about marketing. This is all about attracting those homeowners to call you, to raise their hand and say, I am interested in finding out more. This sounds like it would be perfect for me. And I've had these conversations. They say, this is exactly what I've been looking for. Like, because of this reason. And a lot of times, they can't sell their home today. A lot of people that have purchased their home within 5 years of contacting me. So let's say they bought their home and then 3 years later, they contact me and they say, yeah, I can't sell my home today because when I bought my home for 5% down, CMHC tacked on another 4%. So I'm at about 99%, mortgaged on the 100% of the home. A 99% mortgage. During those 3 years, the mortgage barely paid down any. It's like almost all interest. So if I were to, and the housing prices did not rise enough. So if I go to sell my home today, after I pay the realtor fees, I'm not even going to get my down payment back. And I have to actually pay the bank to sell my home. It's like, I don't want to do that. So the only thing I can do is I can't stay in my home. I can't afford it, or I transfer it, or whatever the case may be, is I need to rent my home out until the end of my mortgage. And because I'm trying to break my mortgage, there's a huge payout penalty for me to get out of my home. So I need to rent my home for a period of time before I can sell it. It's like, but I don't want to be a landlord. I don't want to, deal with tenants. I don't want to. That's why, it was so attractive. Like your company's ad was so attractive to me because, I didn't have to deal with any of that stuff. So it's understanding that transformation, where the homeowner is, where they want to be, really understanding those pains, fears, frustrations, ambitions. Like I said, I go into more detail in the book, but it's really about attracting those individuals to come to you. So you don't have to try to figure out who they are. There's no cold calling. There's no knocking on people's doors unannounced, unexpected, out of the blue. It was all about, I wanted people, like I said, I'm a proud introvert. I want people to call me, people that have a problem. I understand their problems. Remember, I figured out what their problems are. They're calling me because they feel that I have the solution. And there's a real power dynamic shift there. If you think about it, when you're trying to sell somebody something, they're like, they're expecting that you're selling them or whatever, right? So their back's up against the wall. They're less, they listen less. But when somebody has a problem and they're looking for a solution, they come across your ad and it's like, and it solves their problem, and they reach out to you, then you are in the position of power then, because you have something they want. You have something that they want. So they have a problem, you have a solution. So you're in a position of power because you can solve their problem. And this is the way that I approached it with my marketing. People, and once they would call in, I get them on the phone. I always knew that I was in the position of power because they had a problem, I had a solution. Then it's a matter of really understanding, asking a lot of questions. You were given 2 ears, 1 mouth, so you listen twice as much as you talk, which is a problem for a lot of people. I'm not much of a talker. I'm a soft talker, so I will listen to people and I will ask good questions to get information from people so I can understand what it is that they're looking for. And a lot of times when I ask them questions and they're telling me their problems, or they're saying what they don't want or what they do want, a lot of times I'll use that exact same language, that phrase that they use, and I will repeat it back to them in solving their problem. So what ends up happening is I'm using their words when I'm talking to them a lot. And because they're their words, it's going to resonate with them because that's the problem that they have. And I just said, well, for example, I if I were to sell my home today, I'd have a huge payout penalty, and then I have to pay realtor fees, and I would end up with no money left over. Well, Mr. and Mrs. Homeowner, the beautiful part about this solution is that you don't have to break your mortgage, so you don't have to pay those penalties, and there's no realtor involved, so you don't have to pay commissions to the realtor. Now, that's almost exactly what they said that they didn't want to do. And I used those same words and went through and told them that it's a benefit to use this program because they don't have to worry about those things. And that's going to subconsciously, that's going to connect directly with them because those are the exact words that they said, and those are the problems that they had. And you just solved their problem, but using the same language. So, and when it comes to attracting these individuals, it really boils down to understanding them, understanding the language that they use, the problems that they face, and really getting inside their head. And what you'll discover is, when you're placing those Kijiji ads or doing your flyers in neighborhoods, that people just start, the leads just start coming in. I still remember, this was back in 2009. Kijiji was in its infancy, and if you don't know what Kijiji is, it's an online classified site, very much like Craigslist. If you don't know what that is, we'll Google either one of them, Kijiji or Craigslist. And if you don't know what Google is, I don't know if I can help you out. But so it was in its infancy, and it wasn't well known. There wasn't a lot of people using it. So when I started placing some ads, I was amazed that I went from, not having anybody to talk to, because remember, I'm not calling people out of the blue and I'm not knocking on doors. But once I placed these few ads, I was inundated with phone calls and emails from homeowners that wanted to talk to me about solving the problem that they had. That ad spoke directly to them, and it seemed to be the ideal solution to solve their problem. So, and you can have that too when you get the ad, get a great ad placed. And we go, and in this chapter I go into more about headlines for an ad and creating great headlines and creating your ads. There's a lot of information in there, and when that happens and those phone calls start coming in, it's continuous. Like every day you're getting the calls, you're getting the emails. How does this work? Can you tell me more about it? Here's my situation. Can you help me out? And I just can't tell you enough, like how many people will contact you with a good ad that speaks directly to the homeowner, their pains, their frustrations, their problems. We'll get that phone ringing. We'll get that done. So that's how I went about attracting these individuals. So I'm going to teach you the same thing, go through the same information so that you can start placing your ads and start attracting these homeowners to you directly. And they know exactly, when they're calling you, they know exactly what you're looking to do, that you're looking to rent their house and then buy it in the future. So there's no doubt that's exactly what you're wanting to do, what you want their house for. And then it boils down to, well, then let's talk about it. Let's have a meeting. Let's sort of hash out the details, which I'm going to talk about in the next video, which is really about negotiation, meeting the homeowner and negotiating on the price and terms. So that ends the second video, which, like I said, it's about attracting those homeowners. The first video, if you haven't watched it, go back and watch it, is about financing. It's how we're going to actually finance your home. And that is the big secret, is going directly to the homeowner, bypassing the bank, bypassing the realtors, going directly to the homeowner and getting them to rent you their house for a period of time, and then have the ability to buy it at the end of the term. That's who's going to finance the house for you. This video is all about how do I attract those individuals? How do I get them to come to me? And that's all through marketing, through creating ads, through marketing material, and getting that phone ringing so that they know when they're contacting you, they know exactly why they're contacting you. Now, in the next video, video 3, we're going to talk about handling those calls, and we're going to talk about meeting the homeowner and negotiating with the homeowner. All right. So thanks again for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in video 3, where we get into meeting and negotiating with the homeowner. See you then.